In a studio that's in a basement comes the epic story of how two friends changed the future of the movie podcast game forever. The reviews are in. Boys Life magazine gives the High Sci podcast 4.5 acorns. The Daily Bugle says, these guys are super legit. And Pope Francis declares the podcast as life-affirming. From the kid who tried to get smart with David Spade and got fucking old.
You're still out. You're still back.
And the guy who can name all four Baldwin brothers.
Alec, William, Daniel, and the baby boy, Stephen.
Live from the studio of his parents' basement. The Have You Seen It podcast.
Welcome back to the Have You Seen It podcast. My name is Mason Knight, and sitting across from me is the one, the only Cash Kraus.
Yes, sir, and it is good to be back.
Yes, it is.
As always.
As always.
Always great.
And today is such a special day on this podcast, Cash.
It is.
This was on our top 10 favorite films.
Well, you
of
remember
2019.
it was my number one.
It was.
It was my number one. So if you,
It was my number two.
it was your number two. Yeah. So if you want to go back and check out our top 10 of 2019, check this out. Yeah, this is a film that we were excited year round to watch.
Yes, we were.
I mean, because we loved. Let's just talk about it. Yeah. We're reviewing The Lighthouse today.
We are.
Directed by Robert Eggers. But we love The Witch. We fucking love The Witch.
Awesome. So good.
I think
and
we watched
was kind
that
of the
during...
discovery of Anna Taylor-Joy.
Kind of, yeah. Well, I think she did New Mutants before The Witch.
She did?
Yeah, New Mutants started filming in 2015.
Witch filmed in 14.
Did it? And it took 4 years to come out. I thought it could film. Yeah, that's crazy. But yeah,
I'll check.
Besides that, she is still in it though.
Yeah, she is.
But yeah, we fucking love The Witch. So we loved Robert Eggers, and we were excited for the entire 2019 for this film to come out. And it came out. Something happened. Something weird happened to where we never got around to reviewing. We both saw it.
We both saw it in theaters.
We both fucking talked about it constantly.
Nonstop.
Off camera.
I know,
even on camera, I think we talked.
I think at one point, but we sat down here and we must have had like an hour conversation just about this
discussing our like theories and what we and just everything that we thought about it. And we were like, fuck, now I don't want to record it. Like we should have been recording that the entire time.
Yeah, we probably should have.
But, so we are finally getting to it, though. It's Robert Eggers' sophomore film. Can you believe this is his second film?
Some people are just, and dare I say this, some people are just prodigies.
Yes.
Like, some people are just so incredibly talented at what they do. Like, it baffles me.
I couldn't agree more. If you want to become a director or a filmmaker or a writer, you look at this film and you go, oh, fuck, well, I can't do that.
No, I can't do it. Like, it's actually almost
like, why would I try? Exactly, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
You watch this and you go, okay, well, he's kind of figured it out by his second film. And you're thinking, if this guy is making masterpieces by his second goddamn film, I can't, there's no way I could ever write. And it's all just so smart and fucking witty and just.
Oh, dude, yeah. And how
so
much
deep and so well thought, and you could just tell that there's so much research goes involved.
Oh, the deep dive into
and it doesn't make you even want to be a fucking filmmaker because this guy's actually putting in probably 60 hours a week to create something so amazing. But again, you look at it and you go, "This, I can't do this. No one can." No, and it must be the best feeling in the world to be Robert Eggers and have your second film and be able to cast people like Willem Defoe, one of the greatest fucking character actors of all time. And then Robert Pattinson, one of the hottest young actors of all time, who's having this second wave of career that's just, it's unbelievable.
Yeah, and you know, it's crazy like how amazing both of these two are in this film. I mean, phenomenal performances by both men. I could
Explosive,
not believe it.
It's, again, what I thought the best performances of the year. And it sucks because in 2019, the year before the big fucking COVID, this film was only nominated for best. The cinematography, by the way, it's fucking gorgeous.
It is.
Let's talk. We got to talk about it right off the bat. This film was shot on 35 millimeter, black and white.
Yeah.
Shot in a 1:19:1 aspect ratio, almost perfectly square.
They made a customized lens for this film too.
A lens that was 1930s authentic.
Mm-hmm.
Insane. When you
feel
watch
it
this
when
film,
you
it
watch
looks
it.
like you're watching a painting.
Yeah.
The entire time. Every film feels like you could freeze it and then put it on a like an oil painting.
Yeah.
Like you could paint, and it'd be beautiful. Those storm scenes they almost look like they're hand drawn.
They do, man. Especially like even just the waves.
Yeah.
Like just the waves in the ocean. It
And
just looked beautiful.
And again, it makes it feel like you're watching a film at the end of the 19th century.
Mm-hmm.
A film that just happens to star modern day people, but it feels like you're like the background feels like it was painted in just like a fucking 1930s film you would see. I've never seen a film that really brought you into it more than this film. I mean, just how well.
Completely agree.
Yeah, the sound and everything. It's crazy.
And that's what I don't understand. How did this film not get nominated for everything?
Best sound design for sure. That's the one that
Unquestionably.
blew my mind. Was
Just
best
the
sound design.
monotonous, just
The foghorn. Yeah,
It's just all
the eerie
nonstop.
foghorn that it plays throughout the entire
film.
film. And it does, and you would think it would drive you fucking crazy. It kind of does, but it's the point.
Yes.
It's the point of the, and that's what every scene is shot to convey a feeling.
Mm-hmm.
It's shot in a 1:19 aspect ratio because that is very, very tight. It's like
It's claustrophobic.
Exactly. And
Yes.
the only way that you can get these two characters, because there's only two characters in the entire movie, the only way you can get them in the same shot is to have them stand a foot apart.
Yeah.
So every time you're getting that, they're standing so close, and you're not getting like the wide room. You're just getting such a small portion. So it makes every room kind of feel different. You're not getting as much information coming in. So everything feels very mysterious. It's again, it draws you in. And that's a telltale mark of a good film, is a film that makes you feel like you're with these guys.
Absolutely. Well, I know even the production company wanted this film to be shot in widescreen because they didn't want it to be shot in 35 because they thought the set design was so beautiful that they had to have it in widescreen. But Robert Eggers said, "Nah, none of that. No, we're shooting it the way I want to shoot it."
And black
for
and
that.
white turns a lot of people off.
I don't know why.
I
love it.
It's this convey of when you see black and white, you almost immediately get the feeling that this thing's going to be boring. Because we almost only see black and white shit that's boring to us in some way or something like that. But no, that's not the fact at all. There's films that can be shot in black and white that look just as good. And sometimes it adds even more. And again, it adds to this because it feels like you're watching a movie in 1930 or whatever. So it's perfect. It's a funny story on how he got them to agree on shooting that. Do you know it?
No, I don't.
So he wanted to go in and he wanted to shoot this film in the 1:19:1 aspect ratio, 35 millimeter, and of course they didn't. They said no. But his original script had a lot of fully erect penis in it.
Oh yes, yeah.
And a lot of Robert Pattinson, really
Full
full on
frontals.
full frontals.
Yeah.
And it was going to get NC-17, and they said cut all that out, and you can shoot it in whatever you want. It's fucking genius.
It is.
It's genius for him to even put that scene in there, almost thinking that there's no way, and then I would be able to do anything else that I wanted. Because they will do anything to make sure I don't have fully erect penises. So they were like, yeah, do it whatever you want. Go out and shoot this fucking on an island by yourself for months, and do as long as there's no penis in it.
He said, "Deal." He goes, "I don't have to put a penis in this film."
Yep, and he did it. And
He did have a nude mermaid though.
He did.
And nude, even all full frontal for the mermaid,
Well,
which was a little odd.
That's what we can start to dissect the film in a way that there's a lot of just scenarios and shit like that. That's all like subjective. It's all kind of like what you want to make out of it and whatnot. And that's what's so great about Robert, and so great about The Witch too, was there's way more questions than answers.
Yeah.
But that as a filmmaker is what Robert Eggers wants. He doesn't want to come in with all answers. He wants you to question things. That mermaid could be a million different things. I know that the vagina, because it shows the full frontal, is a shark's vagina.
It is.
That they fucking
fully
which again
prosthetic.
is such a fucking it's a mind fuck for sure.
is.
You know, it's so crazy. But yeah, that they got away with a ton for sure. I mean, it's rated R definitely, but it's for it not even being in NC-17. But there's so many themes of this film like that. like the nautical stuff, so much homoerotic stuff.
Yes.
I mean, it is heavily
even a
played.
moment between William Defoe and Robert Pattinson where and I love these sequences. They're yelling at each other, they're bickering, and then they're slow dancing. And then they get a moment where they're about to kiss and they shove each other off.
And they
then
start
they're fist fighting.
Yeah. It's toxic masculinity, and then they're holding each other, and then again they're fighting again. And then they're yelling about how he doesn't like his food and shit like that.
That is my favorite. That is like one of my favorite scenes in this film.
Yeah, and it's
because
just... there's so many things going on. You're like, what the fuck does this all mean?
Yeah.
What is it showing me? Is it just a horror film, or is it a film about one guy's his past and his history finally getting to him, like his alcoholism, because alcoholism is heavily involved in the film as well.
Huge.
And PTSD and guilty conscience, that's involved. The whole thing could be seen as it all being in Robert Pattinson's head.
Well, yeah, and just the psyche of someone.
Yeah, and then you'd never know if William Dafoe's character is evil or not.
Yeah.
You don't know if he's fucking with him the entire time.
Well, right, because he's like, oh, you chased me with the axe.
Yes,
and
exactly.
you're like, hold on, am I going mad watching this myself?
Or he
But
goes-
that's the intent of the film.
Or he goes, it's been 2 weeks since the new crew hasn't came in. He goes, you've been trying to steal the boat every day. And it's like, there's no calendars or any shit, so has it been 2 weeks?
Has
And
it?
then
Has
you
it been 5?
Exactly,
Yeah,
has
we
it been
don't
months?
know.
And then you start to lose time with the movie, and that's such a crazy thing for a film to be able to do. To where like you're starting to question reality in this film. I mean, it's a crazy thing, but yeah, the scene with the lobster, and of course the very famous monologue.
Yeah, dude, I got to tell you, like that monologue.
Oh, it's one of the greatest.
Man,
The dialogue.
I could go back and just watch it over and over. And you look at the dialogue, he's talking about Triton and, let Neptune strike you down, Winslow.
Damn ye, Winslow. And then that slow zoom.
Yeah, as the lightning in the
And
background.
it's the slowest zoom of all time. I don't even know how they managed to do it. The guy must have been moving a centimeter a second. Yeah. But it's the slowest zoom, and what the because of the lenses and whatnot, what they were shooting with it was, I heard they had to use 20 times the lighting for every scene.
They did. Even crew members were wearing sunglasses.
Because they're so old and they did this black and white, that everything needed to be 20 times as brighter. So everything needed to be super fucking bright in there. But
and you know how hot that must get too under those lights? And the weather conditions were miserable for the actors as well, for both Robert Pattinson and Willem Dafoe. Willem Dafoe stayed in a fisherman's
Well, he's crazy.
hut.
We know that. Legitimately crazy. In the best possible way.
In the best way.
And I think to be the kind of the level of actor he is, you have to be crazy.
I totally agree with that.
Because he is on, I mean, Robert Pattinson is great. He's fucking great, and he's fucking great in this, but he's not to the level of William Dafoe yet. I mean, not yet. He might get
phenomenal
there.
performance.
He might get there,
though.
absolutely.
Yeah.
But William Dafoe in this, how he didn't get nominated for Best Supporting,
It's egregious. Like, I will say,
it's
it
the
is
best
disgusting.
acting. It's one of the best acting performances I've probably seen in the last decade. Yeah,
Ever.
It's
and the accent too, the very specific accent, like
Yes.
the Northern Maine accent that he did. It's just in the old language, and just like the emotion you can see on his face. That huge monologue. He doesn't blink for 2 minutes. Go back and watch it. That whole thing, monologue was shot one time.
He's in it, man. He's
take.
fucking. You can tell he's in it when he's in character. He looks like they look like they pulled a fucking fisherman from 1890 and just videotaped his life. Just brought a camera around. The way he walks with the limp and everything, and like you said, the tattoos, the shipping tattoos, and the dialogue is perfect. And it's so cool because they both have this different kind of dialogue where Robert Pattinson is somewhere. It's like regional Maine, but they're two very different. Where Willem Dafoe is very, very typical what you would think of a northwestern fisherman. But it's two very different dialogues, and they're great.
And
they're great.
Willem Dafoe just embodied this character.
Yeah, it's
so
scary.
like, perfectly.
And what I heard, and again, you kind of mentioned either, but their chemistry is so fucking perfect. It's crazy, and it's
electric.
Yeah, but it's two different kind of energies, you can tell. What I heard was William Dafoe loves to rehearse because he's, he brought up by Broadway.
Theatrical training.
Theatrical.
Yes.
Which they're definitely different type of actors for sure, but he likes to do extensive rehearsals. And Robert Pattinson, being a film actor, he likes to get it raw, right on. And a lot of filmmakers some of the time don't even want you doing a lot of rehearsals. A lot of them do like that you like to do it raw.
Yep.
So but that worked for the characters perfectly. So they
did.
barely talked at all until they met on set.
Yes, and then when Robert Pattinson did the rehearsals a week before shooting,
Yeah, he phoned it in.
He barely did it.
Yeah,
like, he
exactly,
barely even while Willem Dafoe's just going all crazy, theatrical, really working on his character.
He probably came in
with the sailor's hat.
Yes,
and the
he probably
peg
came
leg
in
and
full
everything.
costume because I think he's been living in a fish cottage for the last
for
30
God knows
days.
how long.
Yeah, exactly. So he's probably full in fucking character.
Yeah.
But something that I thought was interesting was it was reversed offset where Robert Pattinson really liked to be by himself most of the time and really get into character.
Yes.
Where William Defoe he's so good he can just turn it on and off.
Well,
where they said he was joking around with
the cast members, just having a good time.
And Robert Pattinson was doing all kinds of crazy shit, really trying to get in character. And then William Defoe was like, this guy's crazy. Yeah. And for William Defoe to say that to you, he must legitimately be insane.
And absolutely.
He's the craziest fucking guy.
In the shooting days, it took 35 days to shoot this, but it was described that these actors were so exhausted that they hardly said anything when the cameras weren't rolling to each other. The whole shooting production.
Well, all shot on location in fucking Nova Scotia, some island that they fucking rented out. They built the entire every set, which is insane because it looks so damn good. It looks like a fucking lighthouse you'd see in an 1850 painting, man. It's crazy. It's crazy. But that's a big thing that everyone kind of talks about was how miserable for the crew too. I mean, the crew must have been fucking.
In multiple times throughout this shoot, they would have cameras go down constantly because the water it was so moisture. And the one scene with Robert Pattinson when he walks into the ocean, they had to shoot that. He had to walk into the ocean over 20 times.
Well, I couldn't believe that they actually had him walking into the ocean.
No, yeah, they definitely did.
I couldn't believe that they didn't do at least that in a pool.
Soundstage or something.
In a pool, yeah, for sure. That's crazy. Yeah, and I heard they had to wait sometimes because they're afraid a riptide would kill him.
Take him out. Yeah. That's pretty terrifying.
Yeah, that's fucking insane. But that all adds to that character, man. It does. When you're really feeling and when you're just drenched head to toe in salt water 8 hours a day, you feel like you're a wiki. Yeah. You get into it. How do you not?
Well, yeah,
and you're living in this, and you're 8 hours a day in this lighthouse in this set that's a 1-to-1's perfect scale of a lighthouse. How do you not get into that? I would be talking like I'd be the cameraman. I'd be talking like William Defoe.
William Defoe, yeah.
Damn ye, Robert Edgars! How dare ye make me
shoot this again?
Yeah, but I love it. Let's talk about the seagull scene.
I swear to you, I was just about to bring that up.
I saw it on the tip of your lips.
Yes,
the seagull.
What a brutal scene!
The fact that was not a real seagull blows my mind.
Yeah, because it looked real.
It looked,
and they had to clarify that for people. Because people were
I had to look it up.
Yeah.
I had to look it up, man. I'm like, Jesus, I'm kind of pissed about that. They destroyed that bird.
They did,
but not real.
Nope,
not a real. A combination of CGI and practical effects, just the perfect amount, man. And he decimates that fucking.
He
bird.
does. That bird is no longer with us.
Seabird, they call it.
They call it a seabird.
And just a great element of storytelling too, when he's telling them about the seabird, about how it's cursed, and how he was going to die. Yeah, former sailors who lost their lives, and pretty much setting up exactly how it was going to go down to the point of Robert Pattinson kind of getting his insides eaten out by a fucking bird, a seabird, a seagull, but they called seabirds back then. But yeah, exactly. And then that's got ties to like ancient Greek mythology, like Prometheus. But that's what everything, like he took so many pieces from everything throughout history. So many sailor like stories and shit like that with the tentacles. And then the part where he's beating William Defoe and then it flashes back to him and he's full on Neptune.
Yes.
He's got the barnacle, the helmet, and he's laughing. It's a crazy scene, and then it's a mermaid. It's amazing fucking editing.
It is.
Amazing sound design the entire time, especially when he's smashing that bird. I don't know what kind of Foley they had to do to record that sound.
Oh my god!
I'm thinking that guy went out and killed a couple of birds.
Yeah, he probably
and got
did,
the sound.
and just kept it on the DL.
Man, this seems
Like,
pretty
"Man,
accurate.
I do not want to bring this up to anyone. One of my we're talking about favorite scenes too. I loved, and you said like this film in the cinematography, you could literally pull it out and it's straight out of a painting. One of my favorite shots was Willem Defoe naked, looking down, and his eyes were like beaming lights, like a lighthouse.
Yeah,
and
well, that is actually.
It's an actual. Well, yeah, that's why I brought it up. It's based
so
on
it does
the
look like a painting for sure.
a German artist, Sascha Schneider, and it's called Hypnosis. Was a 1904 piece, and that's exactly where they got it from.
And it's just, you're like, what the fuck does that mean? And then it's like, because he becomes kind of the lighthouse at that point, because it's the light that draws him. That's the big thing. They work at this lighthouse, and this light is kind of casting a spell over them. Yeah. And the guy previous kind of got obsessed with it. Whatever, you just gotta trust William Defoe.
Yeah, you gotta trust his word.
But yeah, and then he becomes the lighthouse, and you're like, what the fuck? I don't even know, but that's perfect storytelling in my mind, is taking all these different elements and just piecing them together where you just have the vague enough plot throughout where it follows, but you're just guessing the entire time. You don't know what any of it means.
It's definitely a psychological film too, because like there's so many shots where you're just you're confused, but not in a confusing way, if that makes any sense at all.
Yeah.
But it's just like you're wondering, what the hell? Like, am I going mad watching this? Like, and that's like, I did feel that way every time. I felt like pressure on my chest, like, what is going on here? I could never figure it out.
Yeah, and it's great. You feel like you're not figuring it out, but you feel like you kind of are too at the same point.
Yeah.
Where it's like, you know that there's no real meaning to it. That's the thing. It's like, you know, there's no concrete answer. You could seek the answers. You could fucking dissect this film and you could probably write a book on it, but you know, you're never going to get it's all up to what you're seeing, you know? What does the mermaid mean? What does the light mean? What does the tentacle monster mean? Is he really crazy? I mean, did he was that guy that died his lover? I mean, were they? That's what, every time I watch
crazy too.
Yeah, and that's crazy too. And you start to get all these different hints. And again, the homoeroticism, and just the lighthouse itself. And even I read only the first like 30 pages of the screenplay, but Robert Eggers specifically describes the lighthouse as like this erect monument that is supposed to symbolize a penis. It's straight up supposed to symbolize.
Oh, yeah, no.
And that's the whole story, is like, what happens when you get these two guys, these two manly men, these 1890s men who are constantly one-upping each other. What happens when you put them into a monument erected as a penis? You know, what happens to their psyche?
And the script backs that up, too. Like, with the dialogue in the film where Robert Pattinson's like, I ain't no housemaid.
Yes.
You know, I ain't no house lady.
But it flops. It flops constantly.
It does.
And then to William Defoe, like, you don't like my lobster, and he's like almost starting to cry.
And he's getting very offended about it. That he literally puts the curse of Neptune on you because of it.
Yes, a powerful curse.
Very powerful.
And the only thing I can ever think about when I'm watching that monologue is, I took 1 year of drama in high school, not to brag.
Well, hey.
But the first exercise was everyone had to pick a monologue and do it.
That
of course,
this was
monologue. Yeah, no, but it'd be so. Yeah, of course, this is before. But it'd be so. But I would try. It'd be so difficult, of course, to pull it up.
Yeah.
But just imagine just 20 high school kids just fucking jaws drop. Like, what is this kid talking about? Because it is just one of. And with the camera, it's a weird thing where it's like, it picks up like every blemish on the actors. So every wrinkle, every pore. Again, it makes you think you're looking at, you know, have you seen like those graphite drawings, like the ones that are really realistic that people draw with pencils, and it looks like you're looking at black and white photo? That is what all the images in this film remind me of, with
Absolutely.
because it picks up like another level of detail, especially when zooming in. You can see the wrinkles and how it looks like there's no makeup at all, you know, applied to, because you can see every blemish. And normally you can't see that. It's like a one shade dull, because every actor is spray painted in paint to make sure that they can work under heavy lights and stuff like that. So you have to have the correct lighting and everything. But black and white, you really don't have to worry about it that much. You just got to make it super fucking bright. You don't have to worry about anything else, though. It's the color of the blood. You don't have to worry about that.
Nope.
Because it all looks black.
You do the Psycho thing where it's just basically
Chocolate syrup. Yeah, exactly. And they said with that lens, every red looked like a really rich, dark black. So you could do that with anything, man. And it looks perfect. When he's killing that seagull, it's just a mess. And it looks like black tar. It's even another element of fear in my mind.
One of my, I love this scene. And there, believe it or not, for being how like eerie and psychological this film was, there were some very funny moments.
Oh, he's farting. He's farting through the entire thing, which
absolutely
is, you would just not expect in this
No,
film.
you wouldn't. But it works. In an odd way,
yes.
very oddity of it, it does work for this film. But my favorite scene as far as like comedy was Robert Pattinson he's looking at the two poop trays.
Yes.
You know, the two poop bowls, and he goes out and he flings it. And it flings back in his face, and he just lets out this blood-curdling, angry scream.
It is. It's almost slapstick.
It almost is,
But that just shows, in my mind, the power of Robert Eggers. To where he's like, I don't have to be defined by one genre. You don't need to make a horror film and have it somber through the entire thing. Right. And I don't know if I'd call this a horror film, but I mean, it's a thriller, and most
what's
thrillers
more scary than being stuck on a rock and not being able to get off. So in some ways, like it does play with the human emotion of like being stranded on an island.
Well, that's where in my mind it takes heavy influence from H.P. Lovecraft as well, where it's fear of the unknown, and that's the scariest thing to people. It's not monsters or anything; it's fear of not knowing what's going to happen to you. And that's what these guys are on this fucking lighthouse for, an unspecified time. That's the scariest thing ever, because you have no idea what's going to happen. And you're with this guy you've never even fucking met, and he is obviously clinically insane.
He's clinically
and
insane.
He's drinking like you wouldn't believe.
Well, before he
Which
starts
is the
really
scariest
drinking,
thing in the world,
he's just bossing him around all the time, giving him all the shittiest jobs while he's sleeping half the time, and then he's jerking off on the top of the lighthouse.
Yep.
Well,
everyone's jerking off.
Well, yeah. Well, I mean, understandably, if you're
stuck on an island with no internet. Oh my god, dude! I can only imagine.
Got it bad, man. He started looking at the wooden mermaid.
I can only imagine, man.
Yeah,
it'd be fucking.
That would be rough.
I'd be spending 90% of my time in the old wood shack or whatever, the tool shed or whatever.
I'm gonna work in the tool shed again.
That he saw him and wrote about.
Cash, you go in that tool shed a lot to go work.
Shut the hell up! Don't bother me when I'm in
about it.
Remember, he says he touches himself in the tool shed when he finds the book. Remember? That's a brutal scene too, because he finds it and realizes he's been lying. Wasn't gonna get paid, and he's been acting like and it just shows that you couldn't trust anything that William Defoe said.
No,
about him, like him attacking him with the axe and like turning it.
I know that was so wild, and he was so convincing when he said it. Where I was like, hold on, is this like a psychological, like a Shutter Island thing where it's like, no, Robert Pattinson was the one actually chasing him?
Yes.
It was so confusing at times.
Yeah, is Robert Pattinson, that's what my mind too. You could always go with it that way. Is Robert Pattinson was just 100% crazy.
Yeah.
And that Willem Dafoe was just doing his job and just telling him because Willem Dafoe's constantly warning him about, don't look into the light. He's constantly warning him that you can go crazy out here. Constantly. And there's an eerie fucking storm that's like purgatory, a storm that's just constant.
And that's definitely what I felt.
So scary.
This. It was for sure. I mean, I can't say for sure because it's open to interpretation, but my understanding of this film, it was purgatory for the sins and crimes that he had committed.
Yeah, but in my mind, William Dafoe is not. Oh yeah, for Robert Pattinson. Yes. But and then what is William Dafoe? Is he literally?
Maybe he is the gatekeeper.
Is he Poseidon? Exactly. Yes. Is he this kind of ancient guy that's in between or whatever? Is he actually the embodiment of the sea? You can look at it that way. Like he's actually Poseidon, probably.
Well, and that's why he changed.
And the way that he protects like the ocean and what he knows about it, and how he disliked this guy that came from the land. Remember, he always talked about there ain't no trees around here and shit like that.
Well, and Willem Dafoe's character, he gave up his wife, he gave up his family
for the ocean.
And
he talks about how it was the only woman he spent 13 Christmases at sea while he had kids.
It's wild.
It's like, wife never gave me that. The wife was kind of bitter about that one. 13 Christmases.
Yeah.
This man is like fucking Jack Sparrow. He's more ocean than he is human.
Yeah.
And that's a huge point that even Robert Pattinson's character brings up. It's like, you don't know what you're talking about. You've been gone for so long. You haven't seen people in fucking years. Because he literally just lives out on this lighthouse. He doesn't go back.
No, he doesn't. He enjoys it out there.
He's the wiki.
It's crazy.
You need a wiki. It's crazy, man. It's hard to even talk about because you really got to watch it to fully experience it.
You do.
But I would tell everyone, man, just watch. And I know a lot of people that did not like The Witch. But to The Witch, I thought The Witch...
I don't get how you couldn't like
Well, my dad and uncle hated The Witch and hated The Lighthouse.
Wow.
So, yeah. But, I mean, what do you think your dad would enjoy it?
No, he'd hate it.
Yeah, he'd hate it. Absolutely.
He'd hate it.
Yeah.
He'd hate both of them. He'd
So
be
that's
like, these suck.
exactly, because it's not... Something about that generation to where it's like... They talk about how we constantly need entertainment. But if a movie is not from start to finish action...
Just like action? Yep, that's how my dad is, dude. Like, he's got to have action. It's like Rambo, Last Blood for the fourth time.
And then they love that movie. Like, they'll love Rambo, the
They'll think it's
fifth
a
Rambo.
masterpiece.
Like, yeah, it doesn't matter. As long as he's killing people, you don't need a story. Yeah. But I just think people can get even more out of this. Even more... To The Witch was a real fucking slow burn.
Yes, it was.
I don't think this film is a slow burn. It gets going almost immediately.
Right away.
Yeah.
When you start to ask questions right away in this film.
Yeah.
And things kind of start getting exposed to you.
Quick.
Yeah.
It's like the first 20 minutes, or it's like the first half an hour to 40 minutes. That's already 2 weeks in. So it's not to where the Witch was really it was sprinkling in things every once in a while, but you're really in there, and you're really in there though for the last 15 to 20 minutes.
Where shit gets wild.
Yeah, where Black Phillip starts going, fuck yeah. He starts getting but that's a real slow burn. This one, I just feel, it just feels different to me. It feels like as soon as Robert Pattinson gets to the island, or even before the island, where the eeriness of him getting there, and then you just seeing the ship disappear in the fog. Knowing that's the last time you're ever going to see two regular Joes.
Yes. And I love that shot when it's just Robert Pattinson and Willem Dafoe, and they're just staring into the camera. That's
the poster shot. That's the poster. That's the shot that they have on the poster. Yeah.
But it's so beautiful. It's just there's something about that just draws you into the film right away.
Yeah, and it's just, again, it's that feeling that you seeing the boat leave and then seeing these two guys and just knowing, it's gonna get shitty from here on out.
This is not a good idea. No two people should be put on this.
Never leave two men, in my mind, alone in any circumstance.
It's just never a good idea.
It's just going to be a constant one-up fest.
Yep.
And it even gets literally to that point to where it's like, pull down your pants and whip out your dick. It literally gets to that point. Yeah. So it's got so many themes. But again, I just think it's got a faster pace than The Witch, and that's why I could separate the two to where it's like it's not Robert Eggers making one successful film and doing the exact same thing over again. He's branching out.
It is, and they're two completely different period pieces, completely different. And since we're on the topic of Robert Eggers.
Sure. Oh, well, always.
His next film is called The Northmen, and it involves, I know, we talked about it earlier, but it involves Vikings, 10th century Vikings.
It's another, and you know it's going to be so fucking accurate.
It's going to be fucking awesome.
You know it's going to be so accurate, and I have no fucking problem with people doing historical films and making them just... It's when you do a historical film and you don't you half-ass it, you do something.
You can't.
But with Robert Eggers, man, he's just getting every
fine detail.
Yes. And William Defoe is confirmed in that.
Yeah, that's something else. And Anya Taylor-Joy is in it,
He won't be the main, but he is confirmed. Well, and Alexander Skarsgård,
Nicole Kidman,
crazy,
Anya Taylor-Joy, Bill Skarsgård as well.
Yes,
the Skarsgård bros. Willem Dafoe too. So I mean, man, that's a hell of a cast.
And did you hear the story how Willem Dafoe got this part? He emailed Robert Eggers
after The Witch.
Oh God! Imagine being a director and you just did your first film, and then you're getting an email from fucking Willem Dafoe who said, "I don't care what your next film is. I want to be in it. I don't care if I got to be a tree in the background. Put me in your next film."
That'd be literally the biggest honor to have Willem Dafoe even acknowledge your film.
Yes.
It's just, but then email you after your first one and say,
no matter what,
be in your next film.
No matter what, I gotta be in your next film.
I mean, at that point, mission accomplished.
Yeah, I don't know where you go from there. Yeah,
no,
I just don't know where you go. You just gotta. But I guess that's kind of the scary thing too, especially having one success after another. It just the pressure builds and builds and builds.
Yeah.
But it's good that he's it's not like he's a mainstream actor. You know, he's doing indie shit. So I feel like he doesn't need to have any of that pressure because he's not making a film to make $80 million. He's making a film purely to make film.
Well, let's think about it. I mean, A24. Yeah, but he does a lot of A24 films too, because the Florida Project, Willem Dafoe starred in that as well.
Well, Willem Dafoe's he rarely does real big blockbusters.
Well, he's passionate.
Oh, yeah.
He loves the craft of acting. You can just tell he is a treasure. I hope the man lives to be 150.
Yes, he's one actor. He's one actor, and there's not a lot that once they go, I will have to take a moment and be like, "Fuck, we actually lost a big fucking treasure." Yeah. But
I don't even want to think about that day, man.
But man, he looks like he's in great shape.
Oh, absolutely.
He's old for sure. He's definitely
64.
But he's in great shape, man.
Is. Yeah, he looks good.
He's fucking wiry as hell. He looks like a guy that could hold his own as a fight. Although I know he's like this softy theater, and everyone says he's the nicest guy in the world.
I mean, when Robert Pattinson slammed him up, that was actually Willem Dafoe, man. I was getting a little worried.
Same. I'd be scared you're going to break this, man.
Yeah, dude, come on, man. Again, national treasure. Don't do that.
For sure. And you're Robert Pattinson. You're 28. You're in the prime of your life. And you're
the new Batman.
Like fucking. Although, again, though, Willem Dafoe's the kind of guy, he's the kind of old man where even I didn't know
he's scrappy.
Because he looks like he's, again, wiry. He's like muscle wrapped around Bell.
Yes.
So it's scary. But everyone just says he's the fucking nicest guy in the world.
Everyone says awesome things about Willem Dafoe.
He says he's just the really soft-spoken, too.
Yeah.
You never think this guy would be towering over you, damning you to the fucking abyss of the ocean. And I love that part, too, where at the end of that giant monologue, it goes on for like 2 minutes. Robert Pattinson is shitting his pants, and he goes, well, I guess your lobster's all right. Yeah.
He goes, well, fine, have it your way.
Yeah, your lobster's all right, I guess. Classic.
Oh, God, it's great.
Well,
I love this film.
I do, too. That's all I can say. My closing thought is just watch it if you haven't. And let me know. You know, don't go into it with anything else. Just watch it.
Yeah. And that's the thing, too. Like, again, I just watched this movie, and I was like, damn, I would like to watch this film again. Because there are so many nuances, so many small details that I didn't pick up the first time I watched it, and new things that I picked up the second time I watched it, and I know the third time I watch it, there's going to be things that I'm going to pick up.
And it's shot in a very small aspect ratio. Again, almost a perfect square, which is very rare, especially these days.
Very rare.
But it's not a film where you want to watch it on the biggest screen possible.
Mm-hmm. I'm so fortunate we were able to watch it on the big screen.
Oh, yeah. And because watching this again, I'm like, man, fuck. And with movies like that, usually it doesn't matter. You know, you can go see it on the screen. Yeah. But with a film that beautiful, I want to go back. I was so lucky to see this in the theaters and really get experience and feel like I was fucking seeing a film in 1920.
I'll never forget. Dude,
old school projector. I mean, it's awesome.
The first time I watched this, I had to take a moment after the film because I'm like, I feel like I'm mad.
Oh, yeah.
I feel like I'm going mad.
Yeah, it was a film that stuck with me for a while, and I had a very odd feeling about it. Very uneasy feeling. I walked away for weeks after just thinking about it constantly.
I really wish we would have recorded that fresh off that or fresh off watching it for the first time, because you and I just rambled on for an hour.
Not even recording.
Not even recording. Just talking about it.
And it was a thing, too, where I remember, we're getting off topic now, but I remember it was like a thing where we got done with the podcast. We're like, all right, I'll see you later. And right then, someone was like, did you see the Lighthouse? And I was like, oh, yeah. I was like,
shit, it's like midnight now.
I'm like, oh, let me sit down real fast. And I was like, oh, yeah, I fucking saw the light. That is the feeling you get when you see it.
Absolutely.
You feel like, oh, yeah, now I get it. Yeah. Now I saw it. I'm on another level. But yeah, I would say, again, just go watch it.
Yep. I totally agree.
Give it your support. And watch The Witch, too.
Yeah,
we watched The Witch in October. I think it was a Halloween pick.
And we have a review on that one as well, too.
Yes.
Yeah, we did review The Witch.
That was a long review, I'm pretty sure, too.
It was. It was back when we used to go through the whole plot. We no longer do that.
No, we don't.
More short, condensed, yeah.
Yeah.
Got to talk about the highlights.
But if you want to go back and watch a very detailed review about The Witch,
feel free. It's probably like an hour and 15 minutes.
It is, and we break down every scene.
Yeah, we do.
We break down every scene.
Alrighty. Well, that is our review for The Lighthouse. If you guys like what you're seeing here and you're watching on YouTube, be sure to like this video, comment below, subscribe to the channel, and hit that bell notification as we drop videos here every single day. If you're listening in audio format, we are on Spotify, iTunes, SoundCloud, Google Play, and Stitcher. Stitcher, anywhere you get your podcast. Social media pages, Twitter, Seen It Podcast. Cash is on Twitter. That's just Cash. Instagram, Have You Seen It? Facebook, Have You Seen It Podcast. Thank you so much for watching and listening. My name is Mason Knight. That is Cash Kraus. And until next time.
Bye.